Hey y'all, welcome back to the Faithful Farmer Mama. My name is Nikki Lynn and I am here to share with you our little hobby farm and all the things that we do here on the farm. Gardening, DIY, renovation, antiquing, thrifting, sewing, creating, canning, preserving, you name it, we do it here on the farm. Thanks for being here and I hope you enjoyed this video. On the farm, I'm going to ask you to go down below and find the subscribe button. You don't want to miss any of our upcoming videos. As I said before, we do a lot of things here on the farm. DIY, sewing, cooking, cleaning, storage options, lots of different things. I'm grateful to be able to share those with you. If you are one of my oldies that has been here for almost 2 years now, I want to thank you again for being part of my channel. I'm so grateful that you guys give me the opportunity to do this. So today we are going to actually I don't want to say repurpose because it's not repurposing anything, but I'm kind of like refinishing, but not really, just kind of fixing up something that was brought home by my husband, whom I am so excited that he brings things like this home. He brought me home a cane chair. If you don't know what a cane chair is, it is the old style where they weave all the different types of cane together, and that actually makes the seat of the chair where you would actually sit on. A lot of times in the thrift stores and the antique shops, you will see these chairs. To me, they want a lot of money for them, and you can't even sit in them because the cane is so worn and old that if you were to sit in it, they would break. A lot of times you can find them at the thrift store, but the cane is always broken already, like someone had stood on the chair and there's a footprint through it. So my goal today is to help show you a way to finish or refinish a cane seated chair that you can actually use in your home. This chair was in fabulous condition. It needs a little cleaning up, but it was free, and I love free. Free is awesome. It was free to us. And my husband brought it home and said, "Can you do something with this?" And I said, "Well, let me do a little bit of research." I went online and I started looking up replacement cane to buy for the seat. Replacement cane is very expensive. And if you planned on leaving it outside, even on a back porch that's covered where it still has the sun beating on it or just any type of weather that's on it, a lot of times that cane will not last a really long time. My goal today is to be able to make a seat cover to go over top of where the cane was, that we can actually use this chair either on our back porch or in my bedroom or up in the sewing room or just somewhere here in the house where it's not being forgotten about and it's not just being wasted. The chair is beautiful and it's in great condition. So I'm really excited to be able to share that with you today. So my husband actually brought this chair home a couple of months ago, and it's been sitting in my garage because I hadn't decided what I wanted to do with it yet. The cane in the center, if you notice, the chair cane is actually broken. Looks like someone tried to step on it or the like, and it is just falling apart. And if you've ever priced chair cane online, it is super, super expensive. So I have an idea that I'm going to do and actually change this chair into something beautiful and useful in the house. I will probably clean up this chair really good. I'm going to wash real good the legs and all the wood that's here, but I may also go and sand it a little bit and put a light coat of urethane on there, but I have yet to decide if that's what I wanted to do with it, but we will see as we go along. I also needed a piece of plywood to go on the seat itself. So we had this extra piece kind of laying around here on the house at the farm, and we're going to use this to make a cover, which will be covered in material and is just going to be so stinking beautiful. Once you have it cut out, you just want to make sure that it fits exactly where the cane was from before. Might have a little bit of wrinkles in there, but it actually does go from edge to edge. Then we're going to actually put this on this piece of wood right here and cut it out. The other thing you'll want to do is you want to make sure that you take out all of the cane from the old seat. You don't want to have that little lip. So we're going to get a screwdriver and we're going to actually pop all of these out so that we can have a nice flat flush seat to work with. Once you have all the cane out, as you see, mine is kind of all over the floor, you want to make sure that all of these holes are totally cleaned out, because this little piece here will actually make a bump in your top chair and your chair pad, and you don't want that to happen. So I'm going to work on trying to get those out. The other thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your template again and make sure that your template covers your holes, because when you're screwing this in, you definitely want to make sure that you have wood to actually screw into. I will probably make this a little bit bigger because there are some spots that it is actually showing my screws. So when we cut it on our wood, I will trace about maybe about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch bigger than what this template actually is. My husband is so amazing because he always seems to be able to do exactly what I see in my head. It may take us a long time to get there, but we always figure it out. So instead of refinishing this chair, I decided I was just going to actually clean it. And I have this awesome furniture polish that we get from Melaleuca. I am a Melaleuca representative, so I actually am able to help you get this. It's the greatest furniture polish ever. So I'm going to use that and just this microfiber towel from Grove Collaborative. I'm going to actually use these and actually clean this chair up. I've decided to cover the chair with this toile that I had found. I actually used this in our schoolroom makeover, and if I have a video of it, I will actually put the card up in the right hand corner. If not, you can visit my blog at www.thefaithfulfarmermomma.com, and there's a whole article about how we redid our schoolroom. But I'm going to actually cut a piece large enough to cover the seat of the chair that you saw my husband cutting the wood for. And then I'm also going to use this cording. I got this off of Amazon. It's a huge bolt. It is 50 yards of cording. So I got this cording. It is just a nylon material. I think it's nylon and cotton, polyester and cotton. And I'm going to cover this with a piece of material that I had cut about 1.5 inches, 2 inches long. And then I will actually just sew this like this so I can give my chair a finished cording edge. So when deciding what piece of material to use, you're going to want to make sure, especially with toile has nothing but pictures on it of things, and you want to make sure that the piece of wood that you cut, just a plain piece of wood, is actually covered by a picture or print. You want to always make sure that the print is going to look good on your board. You definitely wouldn't want something, say, like this here, because there's really nothing there visual to look at, especially on a seat. So I'm going to actually choose this man and woman. They're actually dancing here. I'm going to actually choose them here with a farm in the background. It reminds me of my husband and I. So there are 2 ways that you can actually cover this board here. You want to make sure your picture is straight or your print is straight on top, but you also want to make sure that you have enough space to be able to put polyfill and then also cover it. So my suggestion, and the way that I like to do it, I like to cover my board after I have my polyfill on here. So I'll put this underneath my board here and then put this, let me just show you, I'll do this and then staple this up here so that I can just cut off the extra. Now that I have the polyfill in between the board and the material, and I have my material set correctly, I'm going to go ahead and use my just little trusty staple gun here, and I'm going to pull the material up and staple it on. I push down my board, and I try to make sure that my polyfill sticks out a little bit so that it's covering the corners of the wood, so my wood doesn't actually rip my material. And then I'm going to pull this taut like so, and I will put a staple there, and then I will do one here, and one here. One of the keys to making sure that you have a smooth front is to make sure that you pull while you're stapling. So for my other side, I'm going to actually pull really taut here. Because you don't want wrinkles in the front. The back is, or the bottom, is not really that big of a deal because you will be putting cording around the outside edge. And always work side to side. You always want to go from one side to the other side. So now we'll do the front. Again, making sure that my polyfill is sticking out on all the corners. And I will start in the middle, going toward the edge. Turning it around and doing the same thing on the other side. Starting in the middle, going toward the edge. If you notice, I haven't done the corners yet, and I will show those in a moment. And there we go. This is beautiful. And then we will cut off all this excess here. I just take a plain pair of scissors and just cut my excess material off. I don't like to cut too much off because I know I'll need it in a little bit to make sure my corners are covered. But all this extra that's in the middle. Now this material I'm using is actually considered duck cloth. You can find it at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or any of those cloth places. Joann's has it as well. It's just a little stronger than the regular cotton material. So for my corners, let me get a little closer here so you can see them. When I do my corners, what I like to do oops, sorry, here is my corner right here. I will make sure that my material is pulled in the center first, and then fold these pieces in to my corner. This way you're making a nice little fold right here where it's nice and neat on both sides. And then I just staple this down. And again, I'll show you one more time. Corner, do the center, fold this corner in, and then fold that corner in. And then I'm just going to staple on both sides and also in the middle. Like that, to give a nice, beautiful, rounded corner. Here I'm sewing the piping, and it's very simple, and the biggest key or tip that I can give you is when you're doing this, just sew as close as you can to that piping so that the piping is not flimsy or moving around in there. I used to think piping was really difficult, but I always loved the look of piping when it was put onto a chair or into any other type of item. It just makes it look finished and just so much prettier. And as you saw, it was really easy to sew. It's really just a matter of closing in the actual piping here by sewing it as close as you can to the edge of this little piping piece. So one of the keys when putting piping onto a chair is find the back of your chair and make sure you start back here, because you definitely don't want this little seam in the front. So what I like to do is that I actually like to fold this little open edge here, because this is just an open piece. I usually fold this into like just an angle like this, so that it's a finished piece going onto a finished piece. And I will staple before I actually close this. I will fold that again, but I will staple this as close to my edge as I can so that this looks like it's all one piece of material. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the edges, and I'm going to show you that right here as I go along. So I wanted to give you a close-up about how to go around the corners with piping. So I just stapled pretty close to the edge here, and what I usually do is I will feel with my fingers where this is on the corner of my chair and just kind of put it along the edge there, and I will staple right here next. And then as you see, this is loose right here. So what I do is I fold this as close to the edge as I can, so that it's still keeping the same shape. But if you notice that it's actually more flattened back here, because when you go to put this on the chair, you're going to want this as flat as could be. I also wanted to show you how I actually end my piping. I will either fold this piece over this edge right here and pull it in, or what I like to do is, again, like I said earlier, fold that into a V and then just pull this piece here this way as well, so that when it's up against the chair, it actually looks flat here. You could even cut this a little bit here, like so. Sorry, my scissors are not the greatest. And you could put this inside of here, and then actually, because this piece is long, I'm having a hard time, but you could actually do it that way as well. Oops, sorry. And here's my finished cushion. Something I will show you, just so that if you do decide to do something like this, before you put this on the actual chair, this is actually pretty loose. So you may think, oh my gosh, I didn't do it right. But I just wanted to show you, because once you get it onto the chair, this piece is not loose anymore.
So the last step is to actually get screws that will go through where the old cane was, but not too long as to go into the actual cushion portion of the chair. I actually measured this. I took a ruler and put it on the inside and looked at where it would actually be on here. They don't have to be too much into the wood, but just long enough that it'll hold it on there.
So thanks again for being here today, guys. I'm really excited how this chair turned out. It's so pretty. I'm thinking I might actually put it up in our schoolroom today so that my kids can use it, but also I can use it just to sit down and do grades or make, put curriculum together for my girls. So thanks so much for being here. I hope this inspired you to not pass that chair that doesn't look so perfect when you buy it, especially when it's free. Bye, guys. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you next time.